All right, Jacob. So we all have different insights. I specifically wanted you to come because of your unique perspective and insight on this stuff. So we're talking about like struggles and unworthiness and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So the first question I want to ask you is, do you ever feel unworthy? And how does that affect your thoughts about yourself?
In the sense right now, I mean, as far as like my sense of unworthiness right now, I feel like I don't have a sense of unworthiness because sorry, I'm stuttering. Where I'm at in my walk with God, and a lot of the work that I had to do to get there, I don't sense that unworthiness anymore, but I did back in the day.
Yeah.
I found out, through the work that I've been doing, that I've had a feeling of unworthiness at a very young age. From when I was like 9 years old till I'd say about 24 years old, 25 years old. And a lot of that came out into some work that I was doing within myself, some self-reflection and going to the crucible that, you even went to, and stuff like that. So I learned that I was doing a lot of the things that I was doing to try to show my dad, a lot of things, to show how proud he was of me. Like, hey, Dad, I bought a house. Are you proud of me? Hey, Dad, I'm getting married. Are you proud of me? And all that. Hey, Dad, I graduated. Are you going to go to my graduation? And he didn't. So that's where a lot of my unworthiness came from, was just a lot of setbacks from my dad, and a lot of the promises that were never, come to fruition with that. So I did have a sense of unworthiness because I was always searching for that male role model in my life, and I didn't have it because my mom and dad got a divorce at when I was around 12, and that was an important time. And, any, tween to teenager coming up, that was very important to them. So I had a lot of unworthiness, and, I was always searching for whatever attention it was, whether it was negative or whether it was positive, either at home or at school, more at school than anything. I was very influential, but at the same time, I was always influenced. So to be accepted by other people, I was looking for that because I wasn't getting it anywhere else, that sense of worthiness. So I had to create it somehow.
Yeah, and you pointed out like you did a lot of work, and what I noticed is not too many people do that type of work, or even acknowledge that they have to do work, or even recognize that there's work to do. And so, like, man, how was that process of doing work for you with that unworthiness? This is just me wanting to know.
When I started doing my work, it took a while. I had to break down a lot of walls and a lot of barriers to get to a place where I finally accepted me for who I am and not worried about having to show people or showcase to my dad that I'm worthy of his acceptance. Yeah. Because I accept myself, and I also have a Father in heaven who accepts me for who I am.
And I'm glad you said that, because like a lot of people don't really acknowledge that or even think about, that the spiritual side of things and, God. And so with that feeling of unworthiness that you've had, or that you had, how does that connect with your personal struggles within? How did that connect with some of the stuff you shared?
Like struggles how?
Like the personal things that you deal with that nobody knows about. You don't have to say what they are, but like the internal struggles, and then how the unworthiness connects to that.
I really don't know how to answer that question.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, when you connect the two, it has a lot to do with the stuff that you do. within your sin. Because you need to find it somewhere, right?
Right.
That unworthiness, or you need to mask it, or you need to numb it, that sense of unworthiness. So a lot of that stuff created a lot of bad habits back in the day for me.
Yeah.
Smoking, drinking, fascinated with, females at a very young age, high school,
right.
Even middle school, my wife can tell you stories too, dude. But let's just not, let's just not go there. But, when you have a sense of unworthiness and you're trying to search into other things, a lot of those things can lead to more negative things than anything, and not in a positive way. Anger is a big one for me. Like I was very angry. Still dealing with that to this day. I can deal with it more now than I used to, but anger was really bad. With the flip of the switch, I can go from having a good day and just horrible. Like, it was angry because I wasn't angry, at me. I was angry the fact that, like, why certain people didn't, love me or weren't there for me, because that's where a lot of my insecurities and unworthiness came from.
You see, it's cool that you were able to kind of pinpoint or find the core of what those things are or what they were. A lot of people don't. And so this is the heart of what we're doing here. And so with that, like, I'm sure there was a lot of mental things going on in your head with all that stuff that was going on in your life. And so my next question is, for you, why do you think your mental health is in a good state and or a bad state?
I would say in the middle right now. It's in the middle state.
It's kind of both?
Yeah, kind of both.
Okay.
I mean, you got to think in the sense of what's going on, especially right now with this pandemic and stuff. Let's not get into that, but, not only that, but dealing with the stuff at home. I know, as you know, we're fostering too, and it's definitely hard when those resources are not there for kids. Not only that, that time and space to just be able to hang out with your wife and and being able just to talk, like adult to adult, when you have kids in general around you all the time, and it becomes really difficult. So my mental state is half and half.
Half and half.
Yeah, like, I'm happy, but then you have those moments where you're just kind of like, oh man, like, what do I need to do, to get through the day or whatever like that. But for the most part, it's all happy. It's all good. My mental state is good right now.
And that's good. Yeah, well, that's good because there's so many different people you wouldn't know what their mental state is, because everybody wears a mask and everybody, puts up a front, and, they show you what they want you to see. Yeah. And so, man, I don't know. I just love talking and digging into what,
Well, that's when it's come really important, especially, with what we do as far as youth ministry goes. I mean, you've seen it time and time again. It's just that discernment and knowing with those students, like, hey, how are you doing? I'm fine.
Right.
Deep down, for a fact that that student that just said, I'm fine, is probably not fine. So even though, they have to break down their walls and their barriers too, at least you have youth ministers that are there to kind of help them along. Either that's carrying the rubble and setting it down, or being the one with the pickaxe and helping them break down those walls, to be able to figure out, like, what they're feeling, especially as far as their mental state.
I like that. I like that analogy that you just gave, and that's why I brought you here. That's why you're here today.
Yeah.
No, that's cool, because we do have walls up, and then the same thing is the mask, and everybody has those things because of, I believe, the feeling of unworthiness, things that happened in our past, our struggles, and those masks and walls that we put up, right? So, yeah, thanks for diving in deep with me, bro.
Of course, brother.